need to build that connection with Allah Ta'ala. Once Allah Ta'ala is with us, we have everything. We have everything. So, yeah, so like Uzair, he was saying, the first intention we should have, that I'm doing this for the pleasure of Allah. What's the second intention? Yes, the students from my his class. Ismail, Huzaifa, Arham. One. Rayan. Second intention is that I'm doing this for my benefit. For who? For my benefit. Right. That I'm learning this so I can build my akhirah. You know, we're learning deen, we're practicing Islam for what reason? Because our parents told us to do so? No, we want Jannah. And what is Jannah? Jannah is a place where we can fulfill all our dreams, right? All our desires. So I'm doing this for my benefit, so that I can build my life in such a way that Allah SWT is happy with me. So that's the second intention. What's the third intention? Yes, Riyan?
Complete it.
Completed. Okay. Who else? Third intention. Yes, Isa?
Being happy that Allah told our parents to give it to us.
Being happy with?
Telling your parents to give it to your kids.
To allow your parents to give it? To okay. The third intention is that whatever I've learned, I should convey it to others. That's one thing that many people don't put that in their mind. That yes, I'm learning deen. Yes, I come for namaz, for salah 5 times a day. Yes, I learn Quran. I learn all these basic masad. But what about other people? Other kids? Other youth who never had the opportunity to come to learn deen? It's going to go to them. We're responsible for that, right? Because Muhammad ﷺ is the last prophet. So after him, there are no more prophets. So this job of conveying to the next generation, to the next batch of people. Okay? So these are the 3 intentions. So now for us here, when sitting here, listening to all this, what's the purpose behind it? Is so that how I can take full benefit from this beautiful month. If you look at this, these 2 questions, the first question is, how do I spend my days and nights in the month of Ramadan? And in order to gain the full benefit from this month, what should I really focus on? So the brothers, they asked me that we need to talk about how we only have 15 days left. So we need to talk about how to gain full advantage of it. Because this month of Ramadan only comes once a year. So let's start with the ayat of the Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. As I said, I want someone to come up here. Ibrahim, come on this side. Can you read the translation?
The month in which the Quran was revealed, a guidance for mankind that shows clear signs of guidance and that distinguishes between right and wrong.
Okay, stop right there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He starts off with explaining about this month of Ramadan, the significance behind it. Why this month is so important? It's because the Quran was revealed in this month. Not all one time to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but to the first heaven, and from there it came down in bits and parts. Sometimes an ayah, sometimes a surah. So depending on the demand of that time. So so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He explains that this month of Ramadan is a month in which the Quran was revealed. And such a Quran that is a guidance for mankind, meaning that to understand what's right, what's wrong. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on saying, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ.
So those of you who witnessed, cites the crescent on the first night of the month of Ramadan, the month of Ramadan and is present at home, he must fast in this month.
Yes. So now, in this month as such, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has commanded us to fast. So how many of you had fasted 15 days? From the youth? 15 days. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. How many of you have fasted 10 days? At least. Wow. 10 days. How many? MashaAllah. MashaAllah. From the first day. It's good. Good job, MashaAllah. You know, that reminds me of how once in the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, when he was the Khalifa, he caught one person who was drinking alcohol in the month of Ramadan. And he reprimanded him. He said, shame on you. You're drinking alcohol, which is totally haram. And in the month of Ramadan, such a month where kids are fasting. So he's reprimanding and telling him that you should be ashamed that little small little kids are fasting this month. Good job, mashallah. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He goes on saying, وَمَا كَانَ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. Let me just read the translation. And as for those who are ill or on a journey, should fast the same number of days which ones did not observe on other days. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's making it easy for us. So let's say if a person, he goes on a journey like to Chicago or to planet Mars, who knows in the future. But if he goes on a journey, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows him to excuse himself from fasting. But he has to make it up outside Ramadan. Similarly with a person who's sick. A person who's so sick that he needs medicine, for example. He needs medicine to cure him. So because of that, he can't fast. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala excuses him. A person who just has a mere headache, oh, I have a small headache, and you know what, I'm not going to fast today. No, that's not called sickness. We call it severe sickness. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He goes on saying, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intends to provide ease for you and does not want to create any hardship for you. So a person should not think that, oh, this fasting is something that is hard. No, it should be easy, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not make anything hard for a person. Yes, for the kids, in class we mentioned about how, to train ourselves, we start off with half fast, then 3/4 of a day, then the whole fast. That's how you train yourself. But once you're officially 15 and above, you should be fasting the whole month. Then, وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. And proclaim the takbir of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for having guided you, and so that you may be grateful to Him. So all this we're doing is to show grateful, to thank Allah ta'ala. When someone gives us something, do we just look at it and just go away? Well, what do we do when someone does something good to us? Yes, Insha? To a Muslim, Jazakallah khairan. To a non-Muslim?
Thank you.
Say thanks. Even as like small, like someone holds a door for you, you should say thank to him, to appreciate what he has done. So with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He allows us to fast in the month of Ramadan, to do such an act that many people, some people who are old, they wish that, oh, how we can fast. It's just because of our health, we're not able to fast. Next, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. من صام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه.
Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever observes fast during the month of Ramadan out of sincere faith and hoping to attain Allah's rewards, then all his past sins will be forgiven.
Yes. So whoever fasts in the month of Ramadan and he does not have any doubt about the reward that Allah will give him. He has full yaqeen, he has full belief that yes, by me having by fasting, Allah will give me something in return. And what is that? All his past sins are forgiven. Now, when we were doing the program at the other place, we were reading some commentary in a hadith which is similar to this one. And Mu'adh Zakaria rahmatullahi, he mentions about that wherever you hear about sins being forgiven, it's not all the sins. Ulama, they say that it's the minor sins, small little sins. Major sins like stealing, or punching someone in the face, or all major sins as such. Then yes, if you harm someone, then you have to ask forgiveness from that person in order to be forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you, but the condition is that person has to forgive you. So, major sins, you have to make tawbah. Now, what is tawbah? Who can tell me what does tawbah mean? Repentance. Just repentance? Uh-huh. And?
To have the right intention, not just say, I just want forgiveness.
Well, basically, sincerely asking forgiveness. What else is there?
In front of everyone.
Yes, making a vow, a promise that I will never do it again. So that's tawbah. Tawbah is two things: asking forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making a promise that you will never do it again. So let's say a person, he commits that same sin again. Then what happens? Huh? They say, may Allah protect me, but if I were to go and spray shaving cream on someone while he's sleeping, and after that, then the person finds out, and I ask him, please forgive me, I won't do it again. And I ask Allah, Ya Allah, please, I won't do it again. But then another day, I see that same person, and I feel tempted. Oh man, let me just do it. My nafs tempts me. Then at the end, I did it again. So what should I do? Yes, you say?
You should ask for forgiveness.
Ask forgiveness again. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as such is so merciful that if you do it again, then ask for forgiveness. And if you do it again, ask forgiveness again. Because His rahmah, His mercy is more than our mothers. So if someone is helping out washing dishes and he breaks the plate, first time your mother, she will forgive you. It's okay, babe, don't worry. Second time you're washing the dishes and then you broke another plate. Then your mom might reprimand you. Say, hey, this is quite expensive. Watch it. Then he said, no problem. Then the third day, you wash dishes again, you crack a cup. Now what happens? Also, your mom, just to teach you a lesson, she might punish you. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful that He will forgive you. He will still forgive you. That's why in one hadith, Rasulullah, actually that's in the khutbah. So, okay, let me go to the next slide. Okay, now this khutbah, you guys see it?
Yeah.
You guys able to see it, right?
Yes.
So this khutbah right here is narrated by Salman radiallahu anhu. So this khutbah was given by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the last day of Sha'ban, meaning before the month of Ramadan. That last day, the day when you sight the moon, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave this khutbah. And in this address, it's kind of lengthy, but in this, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained or giving advices about how to spend our month of Ramadan. Certain main things that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained to us. So let me start with the Arabic text. عن سلمان رضي الله عنه قال خطبنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في آخر يوم من شعبان فقال يا أيها الناس قد أظلكم شهر عظيم مبارك شهر فيه ليلة خير من ألف شهر شهر جعل الله صيامه فريضة وقيام ليله تطوعا وكما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Salman al-Farsi radiallahu anhu had narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam addressed us on the last day of Sha'ban, saying, O people, as indeed dawned upon you a great month, a most blessed month, in which lies a night greater in virtue than 1,000 months. It is a month in which Allah has made fasting compulsory by day and has made the Taraweeh sunnah by night.
Yes, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he started off with the description about this month. So sometimes when someone wants to say something important, he tries to grab the attention of everyone. so that just to make sure that no one's snoring, sleeping, and not paying attention. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam starts off by saying that oh people, it has indeed dawned upon you a great month, not some ordinary month, a most blessed month, in which lies a night greater in virtue than 1,000 months. So what night is that? Yes, it's mine. What night is that? Huh? Laylatul Qadr. And Laylatul Qadr, when is that? Does anyone know?
Like one of the 10 days.
Which 10 days?
Like the 25th or 27th.
You mean the last 10 days? Yes. We'll be coming across another hadith about how Laylatul Qadr, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised us to look for it in the odd nights, in the last 10 days. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explains how this is such a month in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made fasting compulsory by day and has made the tarawih sunnah by night. Now, some people they say that, oh, here it says just sunnah, meaning that I don't have to do it. But if you look in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he put a lot of emphasis in tarawih. But then one day, he was sitting in his tent. He had his tent built right inside the masjid. So Sahaba they came. So first they prayed the Isha together. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went back to his tent. And then Sahaba they were waiting. And then some versions of the hadith was mentioned that how some Sahaba they start coughing to give indication. And a couple of Sahabi, in those days there was no such thing as carpet in the masjid. Right? It was just dirt. So they had the small little pebbles. They picked up those pebbles and started flinging it towards the tent. So then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he came out. And he told them more or less to the fact that, yes, I am aware that you are waiting for me. But he said more or less that I'm worried that if I keep on doing this every single day, that it will become further upon you. What does further mean? Yes, is there?
Compulsory act.
Compulsory, that's a big word. What does compulsory mean? Yes, Hassan. What does compulsory mean? Huh? Required. That's another big word. Simple English. Yes. Something that you have to do. Something that you have to do. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was worried that it shouldn't be such that by me coming every single day, Tarawih becomes first upon the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So during the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, when he was a Khalifa, he established as Sunnah Mu'akkada. Sunnah Mu'akkada. What does Mu'akkada mean? Yes, Uzair.
Wait, Sunnah Mu'akkada means the act which Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did away.
Okay. Yes, go.
After he did, he read like the namaz, but he sometimes didn't, but he did.
Something that he rarely missed out. So it's Mu'akkada literally means emphasize Sunnah, right? Something that he really did, and it rarely he missed out the Tarawih. So from this khutbah, it shows Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he mentioned two main things which is attached to this month. One is fasting, second is Tarawih. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes on saying, "Man taqarraba fihi bi khaslatin min al-khayr, kana kaman adda fariidatan fi ma siwa, wa man adda fariidatan fihi, kana kaman adda 70 fariidatan fi ma siwa." Kama qala alayhi salam.
Whoever intends to draw near to Allah during this month by performing any good deed, he will receive a reward of as if he performed a farad compulsory act in any other time. And whoever performs a farad act in this month will get the reward of 70 fara'id in any other time.
Subhanallah. This shows the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making it very easy for us to gain full from His treasure. So this month is such that if you perform any good act, meaning nafil act, sunnah act, then you get the reward of as if You perform one for that. So give me examples of one good deed. Yes, Isa.
Reading Quran.
Reading Quran, mashallah. Who else? Yes, Ismail. Giving charity, mashallah. Yeah, you have one in mind? Yes? Yeah. Sunnah meaning in salah? Yes, to be, yeah, that's one thing. Being particular about sunnah. Many of us as such, as soon as we pray our first salah, we run to the back, not to miss out anything from our friends. No, well, we should pray our sunnah. Yes, what's that?
After reading Namazi, should we add the Kursi?
Ayatul Kursi, yes, that's part of the making du'as. Was there?
You should teach Quran to the younger children, and then the younger children will teach the other younger children. You'll get all the rewards. A little bit complicated, but
Teaching other children. MashaAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of us to be a means of guiding others. Ameen. So, even a small act, like for example, moving a branch from the sidewalk. Moving a branch from the sidewalk. Or just smiling with someone. Speaking of which, in the month of Ramadan, we will be touching it. In the month of Ramadan, they said that we should avoid fighting with other people, right? We should stop. We shouldn't argue. Oh, Abu G, he took my water bottle. He took my samosa. He took my pakoras. Please tell him. I don't have no pakoras. No, just leave it. Or let's say someone he doesn't like you. He said, "Hey, you man, I don't like your dopey. I don't like your glasses." So he's enticing you. He wants you to start. What do? Just smile. Just smile quietly. Then at first you'll be thinking that, wow, man, this guy's weird. What's wrong with this? Well, I'm saying bad things to him, but he's just smiling at me. Then sometimes what happens when a person smiles, the other person gets scared of him. Yeah. He's like, well, why is he smiling? He's planning out something. So avoid fighting or arguing with other people. But coming back, yes, even smiling to your mother, not in a creepy way, but in a good way. Smiling to your mother, smiling to your dad, that's sadaqah. That's part of charity, right? So imagine just smiling to your parents, love. You get the reward of one first act. And another thing is performing the fara'id in the month of Ramadan. Compulsory. It's not just about salah, praying 5 times the salah upstairs. No. Other acts, like for example, giving zakah. Do you know what zakah means? Huzaifa? What's zakah? No, I was asking this one. Huzaifa Paraja. Yeah, giving to the poor. If you have a certain amount of wealth, certain amount of money throughout the year, then at the end of the year you have to give zakat. So many people, they use the month of Ramadan as a way to give zakat. So zakat is a further act, a compulsory act. So you get the reward of 74 lions. Next. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he goes on saying, وَهُوَ شَهْرُ الصَّبْرُ وَالصَّبْرُ ثَوَابُهُ جَنَّةٌ وَكَمَا قَالَ عَلَيْهِ الصَّلَاةُ وَالسَّلَامُ.
This is indeed the month of patience, and the reward for patience is Jannah.
Yes, this is one important issue. The ultimate goal for us is to gain Jannah, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here promised us that if we fulfill His commandments, we will get Jannah. Now here, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, again, coming back to that point about arguing and fighting with other people, patience. It's not easy to have patience when someone keeps on nagging you all the time. Yeah? But it's not easy. And especially when a person is fasting, and someone gets on his nerves, and when he blows up, he loses all his energy from that fast. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has discouraged us. He said to stay away from arguing, stay away from fighting. If someone does not understand what you're saying, just leave it. Then when you're done with fasting, just explain to him politely what you meant. But patience is such that it's not easy to have. But when a person has patience, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with him. Inna Allah ma'a sabirin. We read it in some of the ayat at the end. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ends off with that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who have patience. So Rasulullah ﷺ said on us that if you have patience, then you got Jannah. You have Jannah, inshallah. Then Rasulullah ﷺ, he goes on saying, وَشَهْرُ مُوَاسَاةٍ وَشَهْرٌ يَزْدَادُ فِيهِ رِزْقُ الْمُؤْمِنِ أو كما قال عليه السلام.
It is the month of sharing and a month in which the sustenance of the believer increases.
Now there's a reason why I put this picture. If you look at the picture, you see 2-3 hands, and you see a small little hand next to the bigger hands. So that shows, and one brother, he's holding that bowl. So he's not eating. He's presenting it to others. So this month is such, it's the time when we build this quality of sharing with others. If, like for example, you bought yourself a bag of Skittles, and you see your other siblings, your friends, they're all watching you. This is like after iftar, Ramadan. You can't eat while fasting. So now, one thing is, you don't share it. You say, go get your own, and go get your own bag of Skittles. Or second, you just think to yourself, okay, let me just eat a little bit, take a whole handful and just pop it in your mouth, and then he's like, here, have some. Or third, before taking that one Skittle, you present it to your friends or to your siblings. They say, have some. And then you take whatever it's not. But we have to have this, but sometimes people think that, oh man, if I share with others, but I don't have nothing for me. But we have to have this full belief that no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the one who gave me that bag of Skittles. In last week in class, I was mentioning about how during iftar, my kids were fighting over the samosas and pakores, and I was making now, before iftar, there's a Mubarak time to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So while I'm making dua, I see my little baby daughter come running and grab my samosas from the plate. Ya Allah. The samosas gone. But then I try to think to myself, no, inshallah, Allah Ta'ala has something in store for me. Then my wife she had some samosa pastry hidden on the side. So alhamdulillah, I have my samosa. So in this month, we have to create this quality of sharing with other people. And that's why Rasulullah after that he mentioned that we should have this belief that Allah, in the month of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you from such means that you can't even imagine. وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. That He will give you from such ways that you cannot imagine, mind-boggling. How this happened? There's another famous, one story I always share with my class. One time I went on Jamaat and for 1 year, and one of the 40 days I came to Michigan. I'm from New York, so we stopped at Wayne State Musalla. So one of the brothers, he's a student of Deen from Darul, New York. So after iftar, he had this crave of drinking chai. So then he goes that, Ya Allah, I wish I can have some chai. And then suddenly, a few seconds later, one brother comes with a whole tray of biscuits and pastries and a whole jug of chai. So then he's like, wow, subhanAllah, this guy's dua gets accepted. After we're done, that this kid, he goes on saying, Ya Allah, how I wish I could have a second cup of chai. What? And then suddenly another brother comes. He's not related with the other brother. He comes with his own jug of chai and with biscuits. So we were like, brother, why don't you make dua for guidance for all of us? So we have to have this yaqeen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month of Ramadan, He increases our sustenance. Next. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he goes on saying, "Man fattara fihi sa'iman kana lahu maghfiratan lidhunubi wa 'itqa raqabatihi min an-nar wa kana lahu mithlu ajrihi min ghayri an yanqusa min ajrihi shay'." Or kama qala alayhi salam.
Whoever feeds a fasting person at the time of iftar, for the feeder there shall be forgiveness of sins, emancipation from the fire of Jahannam, and the feeder will receive the same reward as the fasting person, without that person's reward being decreased.
Now this is something really important for us, a nice way to gain from this month. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he goes on explaining about the importance of feeding others. So if a person, if he feeds another fasting person, so what happened? Three things happen. Number one, all his sins are forgiven, meaning the minor sins, yes, major sins are tawbah. Number two, emancipation from the fire of Jahannam. He will be saved from the fire of Jahannam. And third, that fasting person, whatever good deeds he has done, the reward for it, this person, the feeder will get. The feeder, he will get. So let's say if you go in before one uncle or one auntie, she is about to break her fast, you give her some food for iftar. Whatever a'mal she or he has done, you will get that reward. Huh? Yes, correct. Jazakallah khairan. Yes, it's not like that you're taking away all his or her reward. No, that person will get his full reward. Jazakallah khairan. Yeah, I mentioned this in class, how when I was in South Africa, in the month of Ramadan, for some reason I didn't come back home. So I was spending my Ramadan in Azadville, South Africa, in the Jamia Masjid, one of the main masjids, a huge masjid. So right before iftar, I go there, and I thought, you know what, I'll have iftar in the masjid. So I was waiting. There was like 10 minutes left. I'm like, where's the dastaqan? I don't see no food man around. I don't see no food man, nothing. Are they going to have iftar or not? So then I was about to get up and grab a glass of water to be ready to break my iftar. And suddenly a whole group of kids start marching inside the masjid. And then behind them, one chacha was holding a big box. And they go to the corner of the masjid. And he opens the box, and I'm looking at him like, wow, there were small little boxes inside that box. So in each box, it was like a kajur, a date, samosa, all small little things. And the kids lined up. Then I thought to myself, oh man, so these kids are lining up, they're going to grab all those boxes. So I think I should jump and stand behind them. But then what happened, the uncle, he was giving one box to each kid, and the kids started running. They're not supposed to run in the masjid, but they start running to all the other uncles in the masjid. And they start giving the boxes of iftar to each of them. I was looking, I was shocked, I'm like, subhanallah, these kids are smart. They're giving the iftar to those uncles, and that, I'm assuming, you should have good thoughts for your brother, right? So I'm like, wow, whatever uncles have done, all the Quran recitation, the Hajj Salah, staying up the whole night in ibadah, all those good deeds, the reward for it, they're getting the reward. So when you feed a fasting person, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever reward that person has, He'll give it to you without his reward being decreased. Yes, Uzair, you had a question?
Did you get a box as well?
Yes, alhamdulillah, I got a box. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes on saying, story 210. There's so much. Welcome. Okay, there's a lot, but I think I'll just end with the khutbah. After inshallah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes, actually the Sahaba, when they heard this, they said, قُلْنَا يَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم لَيْسَ كُلُّنَا يَجِدُ مَا نُفَطِّرُ بِهِ الصَّائِمِ فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعطي الله هذا الثواب من فطر صائما على مذقة لبن أو تمرة أو شربة من ماء ومن أشبع صائما سقاه الله من حوضه شربة لا يظمأ حتى يدخل الجنة وكما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام.
Thereupon we, Sahaba radiallahu anhum, said, O Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not all of us has the means to provide a fasting person to break his fast. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, Allah grants the same reward to the one who gives a fasting person a sip of milk, a mere date, or a drink of water. Whoever quenches the thirst of a fasting person, Allah will quench his thirst from my fountain, after which he will never feel thirsty until he enters Jannah.
Subhanallah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, actually the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, now they were such, they didn't have means like us. That's a side point that we should think about. How we should thank Allah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us food to make iftar. Like Mualana Mateen Sahib, when he mentioned about how before Dajjal arrived, there'll be 3 years of poverty in the world. Many people in the world will have food, water, just basic necessity. They won't even have that. So that got me scared. I'm like, wow, man. And we ourselves waste so much food. So Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they didn't have these means of feeding a whole meal to someone. So then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained to him that just by giving a sip of milk, you have one. There's one story about among the Sahaba, they had one bowl of milk that they had to share. So even a sip of milk, or just a kajur, a date, or even a sip of water, a drink of water, then you will get this reward. You will get the reward. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes on explaining about then how those people who have a habit of feeding other people, then on a day of judgment, before they enter Jannah, they will be allowed to drink from his fountain. What's the name of that fountain? Doesn't anyone know? Yes, Yusuf. Holy Ghost, the fountain of Gauthar is reserved for the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he will be giving with his mubarak hand to everyone. But remember this, there will be some people that when they come to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to drink from that fountain, the angels will stop him, will create a barrier between him and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will say more or less, then why are you stopping them? They're for my ummah. Then they will say, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, more or less, you don't know what these people have done after you left. So may Allah Ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us such that we're able to drink that fountain, that water, from his Mubarak hands. Ameen. Then Rasulullah, let me, Hafiz Arqam. Continue. 2:15. You're tired. Okay. وهو الشهر أوله رحمة وأوسطه مغفرة وآخره عتق من النار. This is the month wherein the first part, meaning the first 10 days, brings Allah's mercy. When I mentioned this in class, I was saying that we should make dua to Allah, Ya Allah, please grant me mercy. So one kid, he shouted, when I asked him, enshroud us in mercy. So he said, can we drown ourselves in his mercy? So I'm like, yes, make that type of dua. Ya Allah, please drown me in your mercy, in your rahmah. Then the middle part, the middle 10 days that we're in right now, brings his forgiveness. So we should quite often ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last part brings emancipation from the fire of Jahannam. Save us from Jahannam. Then at the end, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, وَمَنْ خَفَّفَ عَنْ مَمْلُوكِهِ فِيهِ غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَهُ وَأَعْتَقَهُ مِنَ النَّارِ وَكَمَا قَالَ عَلَيْهِ الصَّلَاةُ وَالسَّلَامُ بَيْهَقِي. That whoever lessens the burden of his service in this month, Allah will forgive him and free him from the fire of Jahannam. Now you see those two pictures, one the person washing the dishes, another person sweeping the sidewalk. So this shows that when we help out people, especially in this month, it should not be limited to our parents, it should not be limited to our siblings. Yes, we should help out our brothers and sisters. They're not your enemies. They love you, even though that they hit you, they do bad things to you. But remember, deep down the heart, they love you. So outside our family, our neighbors. How about our neighbors? Who knows? By you sweeping their side of the sidewalk, who knows? It might be a means of guidance for them. If they're not Muslims, it's possible that by your small action, they can become Muslims. Okay, so the hadith ends over here. Let me just mention just the point. So there are 9 points that I've gathered about how we can focus and gain benefit from the month of Ramadan. So number 1, praying 5 times daily salah with jama'ah in the masjid. So we should create that habit. Number 2, fasting all 20-30 days without committing any form of sins. Let me get to that part. Yes. So Sayyid Khudri reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, whoever fasts the month of Ramadan acknowledges and respects its boundaries and limits. Meaning that when you're fasting, it doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want. No, stay away from all sorts of sins. Then what happens? And he ensures that he fulfills the advice of Ramadan as he ought to fulfill them. All his previous sins will be forgiven. So if a person, if he has a habit of committing major sins like listening to music, cheating, fighting, all sorts of major sins, then he loses all the reward of fast. And he just stays hungry the whole day. Then number 3, day and night occupy oneself with the Quran. Reserve certain times throughout the day for recitation of the Quran. 2 Mubarak times, after Fajr and after Asr. Make a goal of memorizing 1 surah per day. So if a person does not have enough, or thirdly, he prevents a calamity from falling upon him. That something bad is about to happen to him, Allah saves him. Take dua. And if he doesn't do anything in this world, then in the life hereafter, Allah will call him. Come here, Ismail. Come here. Remember so and so day that you make dua? He say, yeah. And we didn't give you anything. He say, yeah. So then come. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him such, according to the hadith, He will give him such a reward. No one knows what's that reward, but He will give him such a reward that he will wish none of his du'as were accepted. Okay? So we should create a habit with talking, making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at different parts of the day. Number 6, helping out with others with their needs. We talked about this in detail. 7, look for Laylatul Qadr in the last 10 days of Ramadan. This is so important. Aisha narrated, Rasulullah said, search for the night of Qadr in the odd nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan. 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, and 29th. Ubadah bin Sa'amid narrated, the Prophet ﷺ came out to inform us about the night of Qadr, but 2 Muslims were quarreling, fighting with each other. Look for it. Listen. So the Prophet ﷺ said, I came out to inform you about the night of Qadr, but such and such persons were quarreling. So the news about it had been taken away. Why? Just because of 2 people fighting. Yet that might be for your own good. It might be for Allah taking away the knowledge of when Laylatul Qadr is. It might be good for you. So search for it on the 29th, 27th, and 25th. Why it might be good? Because let's say, for example, a person knows, for example, Laylatul Qadr is on the 27th. So the whole 26 days, he's doing all sorts of things. He doesn't pay attention doing ibadah. Then on that one night, he worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's not good. A person, he should take full advantage of the whole month of Ramadan. Number 8, Sunnah i'tikaf on the last 10 days of Ramadan, which is approaching. Ibn Umar reported that Rasulullah used to observe i'tikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan. Look at the last hadith. Ibn Abbas narrated, Rasulullah said, concerning the person observing i'tikaf, he is refraining from sin and he will be given a reward like that of one who does all kinds of good deeds. What does it mean? It means that let's say a person, he sits in the i'tikaf for the last 10 days, right? Now he sees a whole group of team, they're going out and helping out the Afghan refugees, for example, or they see someone passes away, and then after Janazah Salah, they see a whole group of people going for burial. So he's thinking, oh man, how I wish I could join those groups and I gain that reward. Remember, it's because of you sitting in i'tikaf, sunnah i'tikaf, not nafil, sunnah i'tikaf, the last 10 days. Whatever people are doing, good deeds they're performing, you will get the reward. See how Allah made it easy for us. Then one kid, he asked me, okay, yeah, doing i'tikaf, but what do we really get out of it? This is what you get. That by you just sitting in the masjid comfortably, you're reaping all the rewards that other people are making. And lastly, number 9, yes, in order to do all these things, you have to stay away from certain things. Less time in matters that are futile. Less screen time. Less phone. Mute unimportant notifications. All those WhatsApp groups, just mute them. If someone asks you, hey man, I've been texting you. Sorry man, I muted that group. Avoid social media, avoid video games. Yes, read some Quran. Inshallah, you will increase the level of Jannah. Inshallah, not instead of increasing the level of your video game, whatever it be. Avoid video games. Avoid going out unnecessarily, especially places where sins are committed. Now, it doesn't mean that if your mom's asking you, please, can you go out and buy milk, some milk or buy some cereal for Sandy? And then, man, there's too much going on in that shop. I'm not gonna go. No. That's something you should do, like because you're helping out your family. Go out, buy some groceries. Now at the end, this is the last hadith. Pops up. Abu Hurairah narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Take on only as much as you can do of good deeds. For the best of deeds is that which is done consistently, even if it is a little." What does it mean? We went to work so much, right? Now a person may be thinking, scratching his head, like, man, you told us so much to do about the month of Ramadan, but I can't do it. I can't even remember everything. So then based on this hadith, do as much as you can. But the important thing is, be consistent. Do it every day. Do it every day. Then inshallah, Allah Ta'ala will love the amal that you're doing, inshallah. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq to act upon what we have learned. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use this majlis as a means of helping out our Muslim brethren who are in the other parts of the world, in Palestine, Burma, China. There are many places where Muslims are in hardship. So we make dua to Allah Ta'ala alleviate their difficulty. Yes, Isa.
Why do you like to talk about Africa so much?
What?
Africa so much.
Aftercar?
Africa.
Africa. Because I studied. Oh, sorry. I studied in South Africa. That's why. That's why I know the stories. Subhanallah,